It is day 91. The quote that I have today, it says, "There is a strange comfort in knowing no matter what happens today, the sun will rise again tomorrow." If you remember back, it was day 12. I was talking during the winter solstice. It was the shortest day of the year. And the days obviously were short, dark. It was freezing cold. There was ice on the ground. And I specifically spoke on that day of like, hey, it feels so dark and gloomy right now. And I'm equating it to like a season, like an actual weather season. But you can equate that to your life where you're in the throes of a difficult, dark season. And it feels like tomorrow's going to be dark as well. And the next day. And you don't always stop and have the hope that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And you just have to literally be consistent and put one foot in front of the other. And eventually that light will come. Eventually you will be out of that dark season. And that can be hard because you get so stressed out when you're in that dark season. You don't know how long it's going to last, and anxiety can fester and all this stuff. And I'm having this video specifically today, day 91, so 79 days later after that winter solstice video, to where now, yesterday, we just hit the spring forward, where time moves forward an hour. Now it's light until 7:45 p.m. is when the sun's setting today. You can't tell right now because it still looks like winter, but spring is about to sprung. You know, we're probably a few weeks away before spring's really upon us, and you know, there's so much hope in this actual season, weather season of, you know, it's like 70 degrees today. I'm actually hot recording this video, which is so nice for the first time really in months where I've been warm from the weather. But my point in all of this is like, now it's so nice to be able to sit in this season of life and in this season where spring's upon us, where it feels so nice being like, oh, we made it. Like my wife and I were just talking yesterday as daylight savings time had hit us. We're like, man, we're springing forward. We finally made it through these dark winter days. And again, my point in this video is like, I'm equating these weather seasons to actual seasons of life where we will, whether we like it or not, we will eventually be hit with a season where it feels dark and depressing, and it's this unchosen suffering where we don't ask for it, but we find ourselves, whether it's because of relational stress or financial stress or grief or loss, where it's like, wow, I am in a difficult season of life that I was unprepared for, and I don't know how I'm going to dig out of it, and there's no timetable to dig out of it, and will I ever dig out of it? Like, these questions can come up and really affect our mental health and really affect our happiness. And my point again in all of this is like, that was day 12 when I was talking about the winter solstice being here, and now we're 79 days later saying, hey, it's day 91, and I feel this, from a weather perspective, this sense of hope and this sense of, you know, renewed happy season. So how do we do that in our life when you are in the winter solstice of a storm? Again, whether it's grief, loss, whatever the case is, anxiety, to say, hey, I don't know when that kind of day 91, spring is sprung kind of feeling is gonna come and finally intervene in this dark season. But my point is, just know that it's coming. The hopeful season is coming as long as we're willing to put in consistent effort, rely on God, ask Him to, you know, cast our anxieties on Him. And it's a happy day, and I think we're heading towards a really happy season of weather. How can I continue to frame that in my mind, that no matter good or bad, whatever I'm experiencing in life, that the happy season is going to eventually come. So the scripture that I have today, it's in Luke chapter 1, verses 76 through 79. And it says, "And you, my child, will be called a prophet of the Most High, for you will go on before the Lord, prepare the way for Him, to give His people the knowledge of salvation through the forgiveness of their sins, because of the tender mercy of our God, by which the rising sun will come to us from heaven, to shine on those living in darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the path of peace." Again, I love that. In verse 78, because of the tender mercy of our God, by which the rising sun will come to us from heaven, to shine on those living in darkness. And a lot of us, again, sometimes it's chosen where people will live in darkness because they're being deceitful, or they're just not living in God. And sometimes the darkness is just something that we're trying to do the right thing, but we're stunned with anxiety or stunned with depression. And it can feel it can just take the energy out of you, and it can take your positivity away and the hope that you have away. But we just have to remind ourselves that it's God that, you know, guides our feet with peace. It's God that we can cling to amidst those difficult seasons. So that's what I have today. Again, day 91. Weather's warming up. We're heading towards even brighter and sunnier days. So amidst your darkness, just remember, like I said on day 12, one foot in front of the other. There's light at the end of the tunnel. And eventually that reward of being consistent and relying on God, even amidst your darkness, eventually that reward will pay off sooner or later. And that's day 91.